Boom, you looking for this?
Welcome back to Boom Shot. I'm Kel, this is Colby, and yesterday we posted a video, or actually this morning we posted a video explaining what we thought about the MCU recasting T'Challa. And so today we've kind of looked at both sides a little bit more, and we're going to update our opinion and kind of present both sides equally.
And we kind of came up with a solution that we think might work.
Yeah.
Just something we can throw out there, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're doing our best to respect both sides of the argument. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the video. Okay, so as we mentioned yesterday, the MCU said that they're not going to be recasting T'Challa or replacing him, okay? They're not going to do a CGI interpretation of him. And a lot of MCU fans some of them were not actually happy about this. There's a petition of over 50,000 signatures out there right now that is trying to get T'Challa recasted. So there's kind of like two sides to this argument. There's obviously the recast T'Challa side, and then there's the don't recast T'Challa side. And the recast T'Challa side, a lot of it has to do with his comic book history, him as a character, as opposed to, last video we focused really on the actor, like what Chadwick Boseman did with the character, but a lot of people still care about what Chadwick Boseman did and they respect it, but they
still want to see T'Challa fleshed out.
Yeah, that transcends, their love for that character, T'Challa, transcends what Chadwick Boseman did, and they'd rather see him on the big screen with a different actor.
They've just scratched the surface really with T'Challa. And so, I've seen a lot of people saying they want to see, because they bought Fox, Disney bought Fox Marvel, so the X-Men are going to be introduced at some point.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people saying they want to see the T'Challa and Storm storyline fleshed out. So,
And like the history that has to do within the comics of that being a big moment. And they just really believe that the character is bigger than this one actor, which I completely understand. I get that. And a lot of other people were really saying that his brother, and other people are also saying that Chadwick would have wanted T'Challa to continue on in the MCU. So,
right. I saw where his brother said that. I haven't seen anywhere that T'Challa himself, that Chadwick himself said that.
Yeah. Neither have I. So to me, that if he said that, then continue on with the character. If Chadwick Boseman said I wanted the character to continue on, then they should do that to honor that wish.
But as far as I know, I haven't seen where Chadwick said that. His brother did, obviously, and that's something to consider for sure.
Yeah, but it's also something to consider that Marvel isn't recasting him either, because we'll get to that in a minute. So the other side is kind of don't recast T'Challa. Other fans see an issue with the continuity and the court of public opinion. So a lot of other fans see an issue with maybe another character taking over T'Challa, but not living up to what Chadwick Boseman did with the character. Yeah. And possibly fans would be getting upset, and that actor would be getting unnecessary hate for trying to fill a gap that's basically unfillable.
I'll say this, I think I think it is impossible to do what Chadwick did. No one can. Mm-hmm. No two actors are the same, no two people are the same. You can't do it. So someone's gonna, as much as they try to replicate his take on the character, it won't be the exact same.
No.
So you have to weigh your options. How people would feel about that. You really have to think about that.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot more that could go wrong if they recasted him. Just because think about Spider-Mans. They've recasted Spider-Mans before. You've got such a sharp divide between fans. There's Toby lovers, there's Andrew lovers, there's Tom Holland lovers, and every other, those who love Toby hate the other two. You know what I'm saying? If they don't get their vision of what they think T'Challa should look like, then they get upset. And that's what I think a lot of other fans are worried about, is that this could eventually end up happening. And like we said earlier, it's kind of weird that Disney hasn't recasted him, because typically, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Disney, they care about money. So if they think they could make money off T'Challa, you would think that they would recast him just to get people in the seats at the theaters.
Right. And they've done it before too with Hulk and Rhodey.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and which those are two different situations, of course, because the actors didn't die, but they kept the characters in there for a reason.
But it's showing that they're not scared. They think they can salvage the continuity even by recasting a character.
Yeah.
So. And like you said, the whole thing, they could, by keeping T'Challa in the MCU, They probably could make a lot more money. Everybody loves T'Challa.
Yeah.
The action figures, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kevin Feige coming out and saying that, I think it was one of the Disney Plus investor days or whatever he said that.
Like right before the premiere of WandaVision is what I read.
Yeah, I think that's saying something.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important because a lot of what he said, if I can go back up, because I wrote some notes down, is that they would be focusing more on Wakanda as a country, and it would still be with love and respect toward T'Challa and Chadwick and everything that he did with the character, but they would be focusing more on Wakanda and the culture and stuff like that. So that's what it sounds like Wakanda Forever is going to be like, because it's in the name.
Yeah, I think this movie is going to be dedicated a lot to Chadwick and T'Challa.
Yeah.
Assuming they stick with what they said originally and not recasting T'Challa. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I honestly, in my opinion, I don't think Marvel will budge. To me, it does seem like a sharp reaction to him passing away, like them saying they're not going to recast him at all. But also at the same time, I don't feel like that would look very good on their part from the court of public opinion, like we said, if they tried to make money off of him after he died.
Yeah, I think either way they went, they're gonna have people signing a petition. You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, they're in the most unfortunate spot of all, really, other than Chadwick's family. But
of course, if they would have came out and said that they were recasting them, there could be a petition right now with
100,000 signatures.
Going
the other way.
So they're in a tough spot, but I think they'll stick with what they said.
Yeah, I think they will too. And I mean, we get both sides of the argument. I think, and what this was kind of a solution that you generated while we were talking off screen, is keeping Black Panther in the MCU, kind of like we mentioned yesterday with maybe like M'Baku or the other dude that we were talking about, or Shuri.
Yeah.
And making a separate universe with a new T'Challa as an actor, like maybe like James David Washington or John David Washington from Tenet. Giving him a story and maybe bridging him in through the multiverse.
Right, and then that way he could have a fresh take on the character.
Yeah, exactly.
And he could still flesh out what was seen in the comics.
Yeah.
And that way he doesn't have to live up to what Chadwick did. And Chadwick's legacy as a character.
Yeah, because, I mean, think about it. Chadwick's been in 4 movies. He's already generated because we've seen him interact with other characters in the MCU. Like, it'd be different if he maybe had a solo movie, but he hadn't quite interacted with any other characters from the MCU yet, but he has. And so now we know how he acts. Like, we've seen great character development. Even between Civil War and Black Panther, there was amazing character development in there. And I think it's just better that they leave his character untouched. The hard part about that is they got to figure out a way to do him justice in his death on screen. Yeah. That's gonna be a pretty hard thing to work around. But I honestly agree with you. I think that's probably the best way to do it is possibly make a new T'Challa in a separate multiverse and just bridge him in to the main MCU timeline.
I think that what they're gonna do with this movie is honor Chadwick.
Yeah.
As they should, how they did with Stan Lee and was Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. The whole movie really. And then maybe they introduce Storm first, and then we see like maybe a show or something, and there's another T'Challa in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
This is probably, I would say, a couple years down the road, a few years.
Yeah.
Let it rest some, and then they could still have their storyline, and
like, it's kind of a way of having your cake and eating it too. Like, you're doing Chadwick justice and preserving his legacy as the character, but you're also giving the fans what they want. Because it's like for a lot of fans, the way Spider-Man fans feel about Peter Parker, Black Panther fans feel about T'Challa. So it's just kind of that, like, they love this beloved character. And I, as a Spider-Man fan myself and a Black Panther fan, I do want to see those characters done justice on the screen. I just don't know if it's them recasting him immediately would be the right way of doing it.
It kind of reminds me, what this whole theory or idea reminds me of kind of what they did with Captain America in Endgame.
Yeah.
He went to an alternate universe and got what fans wanted to see, and then they introduced another one.
Yeah, exactly, through Sam Wilson.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that way both it was kind of the best of both worlds in that scenario.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers fans got to see what they wanted, and then everybody got to see what they wanted pretty much with Sam Wilson coming.
I mean, they even broke their own rules to please both the fans and also give us a new Captain America as well. So I think, like we said, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Unless, I mean, Marvel could probably come up with something maybe, but I just don't see them budging. I really don't. I think when they made that decision, they had already considered all the factors, and I just don't see them giving in. As hard as that is to say to those who are adamant T'Challa fans, but I just don't see it. And so we decided to remake this video because upon releasing that one video, we did some looking around.
We talked about it a lot, looked around a lot.
We consulted some of our friends, see what they thought. We looked around YouTube, see what other people thought, looking at the comments, seeing why people thought that he should be recasted. And this is the ultimate conclusion we came to, but obviously this is our opinion. And, we can't conclusively say this for everybody else. And, leave your opinion in the comments below and be respectful. And we just want to thank y'all for watching. See you in the next one.